All right, everyone, I am excited to introduce my next guest singer, songwriter, author of I've Never Been to Me, the memoir, and singer of I've Never Been to Me, the worldwide global sensation, number 24 best-selling Motown song of all time. Please welcome to the show, Charlene.
Hello. How are you?
Wait, I had this ready. Hey, lady. What's
Oh, yeah.
up? I'm so excited to talk with you. I've read your book. I have your book. Look at that. I
Oh,
will
yeah,
say
really?
there's one copy available left on Amazon for new, and it's $150. I didn't pay
You're
$150
kidding.
for this copy, but like,
It's a lot of money.
I know, right? I mean, it's a good book, but I don't, I got it on eBay.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff in there. A lot of stuff.
A lot. Quite an up and down with the song I'd Never Been to Me, quite an up and down with Motown,
Right.
marriages. I think he almost died 3 times in the book.
Yeah, well, in England, yeah. They almost ended my life with a nurse or doctor didn't know what they were doing.
When you were younger, when you were a
Yeah,
baby,
no, I was
and
like 30, 34, 35 years old. It was, yeah, I got lucky.
so lucky. It's such a interesting story and life. You were born in Hollywood, right?
Hollywood, California. That's it.
And you always dreamed of being famous.
Yes, I did.
How did you learn that you could sing and write music?
Well, my first marriage to Larry Duncan was the time when he was a guitar player. And I used to sing a little bit when I was doing dishes or just kind of cleaning the house or whatever, or riding my horse because I had horses and I was a real cowgirl. Oh my gosh. So, anyway, so when I was riding my horses and I was just thinking, I came home and I was humming this song. And he said, "You have a really nice voice." And I said, "Really? I don't sing. I just kind of twiddle along to the Beatles." The Beatles were my guiding voice. He had this song that he wrote with a friend, and it was called From Your Lips to God's Ears. Okay, beautiful. Oh, beautiful song. I don't have any memory of it at all. Nothing. So he said, John was his co-writer. He said, "We have a song, and John wants you to go in his little studio and give it a shot, see what you sound like, if you'd like to try that." And I said, "Sure, okay, I'll do that." I was so young and it was crazy. I did try anything. We went into the studio, and I was behind the big glass window, and they were both in the control room with these speakers that were the size of this room, massive speakers. They started, playing it, and I learned the song before I went in the studio. It was really pretty. It was a very pretty song. I went in there and they put it on, and I practiced a few times, and then I sang it. I sang it. It felt pretty nice. It didn't feel magic. It just felt it was neat, wow, okay. And they stopped it and they just looked at me and I said, "What did I do? You to kick me out of the studio and say you really stink?" Or what were they gonna do? And they said, come in here." I said, "Okay." Me never hearing my voice on speakers, big speakers, just hearing my voice in the kitchen or in the living room or, singing at parties and stuff. They put it on and I sat there and they looked at me and I said, "What? What did I do?" They said, "You're incredible." I said, "I'm incredible. Do you need hearing aids or hearing things to make you hear better?" They said, "No, your voice is beautiful." And I said, "Oh, okay." I got pretty excited. And we went back to this party where we used to go and sing, when we had that little cassette now. So now I had something to show people of me singing on tape. And this lady had heard me sing another song called Sweet Sad Clown. It was okay. It wasn't that great of a song. But she said, "Charlene, I love do you have something else I could play, I could hear that you sing?" And I said, "Yeah, funny enough, I do." We did another song called Sweet Sad Clown, and it was pretty neat. And she played it, and she says, "Oh my gosh, I love this song. Are you serious?" She goes, "Yeah, I wasn't with it. I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm really a terrible singer. At least people are telling me this to make me feel better. I don't feel like I'm just going to go home and cry." And she said, yeah, no. She goes, well, right now I'm working for Sammy Davis Jr. and Barry Gordy is my boyfriend, the person at Motown. And I said, oh, I said, does Barry Gordy know Diana Ross? Because I loved Diana Ross and her song, Whenever the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes, da 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 da, was like my favorite song. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe one day can I meet her or something? And go, yeah, maybe one day. But I'm going to play this song, this From Your Lips to God's Ears for Barry. And I said, okay, that's fine. I was kind of shy. I was kind of like, oh no, he's going to hear this and go, oh God, tell a girl to go get a job, something, do something else. She called me about 2 months later. We exchanged numbers and we became kind of friendly. She called me and she said, Barry Gordy wants to meet you, Charlene. I said, he wants to meet me? Are you serious? I couldn't believe it. And she said, well, right now, Diana Ross is doing her movie of the oh God, what was her name?
Lady Sings the Blues.
Lady Sings the Blues. That's right. Lady Sings the Blues. And she's doing that movie. And Barry wants you to come to the commissary, the place where you go have lunch, and meet him. And I'm like, this is like, you're going to give me a heart attack. I said, you've got to be joking me. He wants to meet me? And will Diana Ross be there? Go, well, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding? No, this can't be happening. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is nuts. So anyway, I went there a couple weeks later after, I got done riding my horses and feeding them and all that. I said, okay, we're going to come in. We went to the big room where it was producers and all kinds of people, some actors. I didn't know who anybody was, producers and people who were in the industry doing movies. And, I went in and I sat down just by myself. I was sitting there and in comes all these people. There's a Barry Dillard who was all with the production company and all these people. And there was Diana Ross coming in. I'm like, oh my, no, I'm turning to wood right now. I said, I'm going to turn to wood. I can't even believe this, So Barry comes in and he says, hi, Charlene, how you doing? Thanks for coming down. And I really love your voice. And I love that song you sang. And I said, oh, the one about the sweet sad clown, or no, she goes, no, it was another one. The one about oh God, what is it? Oh, another ballad. I said, okay. He goes, can you sing that for me right now? And I said, oh my gosh, you're not thinking of the sweet sad clown, you're thinking of the other one. Yeah, the other one that you said that you did a tape on. And I said, yeah, I could sing that for you. I was nervous as all heck. I didn't know even where to begin. And so he goes, stand up and sing it for me. I said, okay. So I stood up and I sang it. And he just sat there and looked at me. And Nancy always told me whenever he sticks his tongue out, biting the side of his mouth, he's really excited. That means he really loves something. And I said, oh my God. I said, wow. He said, I love your voice and I would love to meet you and have you come up to the Motown office and meet some of my other writers that we work with, other writers who write many of the songs. Now, Michael was only a little boy. He was still very young at that time. But I met him at the Motown office. I met all the Temptations and Four Tops. Everybody was there. And it was just a whole array of these fantastic artists. And I went up.
That's amazing. I have a few questions. So the demos that you made with Larry, those are the ones that you talk about in the book that were also with Jack Keller.
Yes. Very good.
For those listening at home, wrote the theme to Bewitched, and I'm sure many other amazing things. Anyway.
That's right. You're right.
All right. So you're at this party. Nancy, who's Barry Gordy's girlfriend, introduces you to Barry Gordy. Okay, so when you're there with Barry Gordy, like you said, Diana Ross is there. So you go from just kind of cutting some demos with your boyfriend, Larry, and Jack. And the next thing you know, you're in the middle of a restaurant, standing up, singing for Berry Gordy and an idol, Diana Ross. Like, how did you even mentally make that happen? I mean, I was like, that must have been nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah, oh, it was nerve-wracking. The thing is, I might have been in my 30s, but I was probably really in my 20s. I was very young. I was very like, I didn't absorb all this until later. It's like sometimes people will have a thing where they'll do something and they flash back on it and go, I don't know how I did that. That was kind of me. That was kind of what I did. I was very a past person who would do things and later on perseverate on it and go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. But I did. And then a few months after that, I got the call from Nancy and she said, Charlene, come up to the Motown office. You're signing with Motown. And I said, this is not real, right? I mean, this is my dream. This is not a real event that's happening to me. I'm washing dishes 5 minutes ago and I'm walking into a studio where all these people are and all these named people. And now I'm walking into the Motown office building, 6200 Sunset Boulevard, with all these writers and people who sang all the big songs, and Stevie Wonder, who I loved. I wasn't that infatuated with him at that time because he was very young and I was very young. He was only about a year younger or older than me. He was very young. And when I would be in the Motown office, I would go in there. Ron Miller was in there, who I didn't even know who he was, not yet. Stevie would come into the Motown office and sit down next to me and say, can I play you my new song that I'm going to be? He never even played me a song that I knew because he was blind and he never had, he'd never made the song yet. It was new. It was brand new. So I said, yeah, that would be neat. So he played me the song. It was called Taboo to Love. And it was nice. And it was great. That's great, Stevie. And he said, yes, Charlene, I've heard some of your demos that you do. You have a really nice voice. See, my voice for Motown was so different. I was like, I think that's why Barry was so enthralled with me, because I wasn't the normal Motown artist. I sang like a Joni Mitchell, and Barry used to ask me to come to parties, sit in the middle of his floor with all these big artists around me and have me sing a Motown Joni Mitchell song. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And yesterday, a child came out to wonder. And it was just like so new, and he loved it. He wanted to see how Charlene would sound on some of these Motown writers' songs. So he got together the Temptations. They got me a song. I sang that. I sang another song, sang another song. I did a song called At the Airport that was for Michael Jackson. And I loved that song, but it didn't fit my voice. Nothing really fit my voice because I had that lilting, high falsetto, sweet kind of sounding voice. I was approached by Ron Miller, who wrote For Once in My Life, Touch Me in the Morning, Heaven Help Us All, Yester Me, Yester You, Yesterday, and all those great songs. And he walked up to me. He said, hi, Charlene, my name's Ron Miller. You've never heard of me because nobody ever talks about me at Motown. It's just me, by himself with another writer. He says, I want to play you a song that I wrote, but when I heard your voice, I turned it into a female version because right now all it is a male version with the Temptations doing it. And it's now considered a man's song, but with you, I hear it being a female song. And I said, okay. And at the time, I was going through a really bad divorce of my husband because he was so jealous that I was going to Berry Gordy's house and I was invited up. My husband, Larry, was never invited up. And it was just me that he was really wanting to know more about. He invited me into his office and he's sitting behind this big giant desk with his little dinky tape recorder. Push the button, right? He says, yeah, I want to hear you, this demo singer, singing the female version of this song, and I can hear you doing it. And I said, really? Okay. And back in my mind was always going on, what is Larry going to say? What is Larry going to do that I'm invited up and Ron wants me to sing a song for him and for, people. And Larry was so jealous, and he used to do things. I'd take a bath, and he would take the water out of the tub so I couldn't do it. And he was kind of a mean person. He wasn't happy with me because now I'm happy and I'm doing something musically kind of for me, that just for me, not Larry playing the guitar and me singing. It was just me. And he was playing guitar too, but
But Larry got signed to Motown with you, right?
signed,
And then
yes.
they dropped him and kept
Right,
you.
right, exactly. He did a song called, oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it went on the Temptations album. It was good. It was a real kind of funky kind of song, but that wasn't my voice. Again, that was not my voice. So anyway, Ron pushes the tape recorder button to push it on, and I'm sitting there listening, and I hear, "Hey lady, you lady, cursing at your life. You're a discontented mother and a regimented wife. I've no doubt you dream about the things you'll never do. But I wish someone had talked to me like I want to talk to you. I've been to Georgia and California and anywhere I could run." So I'm hearing this song, this lilting, sad ballad, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just started tearing up in my eyes. I'm hearing the lyrics and I'm hearing this, and I'm seeing my life just flash before me. And I'm like, did this man come and live with me for a couple years and not know what I was going through in my life? He wrote this song about me. And I just started crying. I was crying. I was crying so hard. I couldn't even breathe. That's how hard I was crying, because it hit me so hard. Ron Miller shut it off and sat back and said, "I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" I said, "No, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not. You're playing this song for me, and it sounds like my life." Almost like that, "Killing Me Softly in His Words," humming by Roberta Flack. It kind of had the same hit with me in my heart as that song. And I was like, this song is amazing. I mean, I could hardly even talk, and I was really embarrassed because I'm sitting there crying in front of him. He doesn't know me from Adam. I didn't know that he wrote "Touch Me in the Morning," "Heaven Help Us All," "Place in the Sun." I didn't know he wrote all those big hits. So if I would have known that, I probably would have been under the desk crying. I don't know where I would have been.
Sometimes it's good to not know things in the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I didn't know anything. I really didn't know. With me, I was so sensitive, and I was so young, and I had been through so much with this man that I was married to. So, oh, such horrible things I went through. So I was very young and very naive. I didn't know anything. Ron said to me, "Honey, I want to bring you in the studio with Kenny, because Kenny wrote the music. I want to bring you in the studio with Kenny to go in the big Motown studio." And that was where Diana did all her records. And I'm like, oh my God. I was freaking out. We rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed, and I learned the song more and more, more and more and more, and loved it. Fell in deeply in love with this song, and just like, oh, it's so beautiful. So we went into the big studio with Don Costa doing all the violins, Don, who did all Frank Sinatra's violins, and a band, a repercussion band with like the guitar, drums, harp, and all this beautiful music. And Ron said to me, he said, "Charlene, go out and have some lunch. Come back in about an hour. We should have this pretty much down where you can listen to it and kind of mess around with it vocally and see how you feel." And I said, okay. So I went out, had some lunch, came back, walked into the studio, and I'm hearing these lush, gorgeous violins. If you listen to Never Been to Me at the very end, those violins, dee, 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 dee. I mean, oh God, it was gorgeous. And I'm hearing this, and I'm just going, he goes, "How do you like your song, baby?" And I said, "My song, this is my song." I said, "I've never heard anything. I just hear little rinky-dink guitar, little, whatever I had to sing with." And it was just beautiful. It was beautiful.
You talk about in the book how Ron Miller really kind of had to work with you to get it exactly right.
We had a very rough time because me singing all these little Joni Mitchell songs with no beat and all these songs where I had no direction of where I'm going to go. And now I have this classical, beautiful piece of music, and I've got to fit my voice into that. And I just didn't know how to do it. He said, "You're not even on beat. You got to be on beat." And I said, "What do you mean be on beat?" I wasn't getting it. So he got so mad at me. I talk about this, was really sad. He got so mad at me. He goes, "Come with me." And we go the back of the studio. We're in the back, and he goes, give me your purse." And I said, "Why?" He goes, he throws my purse down with all my makeup in it. That's all I cared about, was putting makeup on. And he threw it. All this makeup goes everywhere. He goes, you know what, lady? He goes, "You know what, lady? I'm going to give this song to somebody else. If you don't sing this song the way I've written it, it's going to a Barbara Streisand or to Diana Ross. But you don't deserve this because you're not doing it." And he really, I was crying. I was so upset. I said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Oliver. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." So he said, "Okay, we're going to go in there. We're going to come back tomorrow because I've wasted too much studio time with you. We're going to come in here tomorrow and you're going to sing it again." I said, "Okay, I'm going to do it." I did one take, the whole song. Oh my God. He blew me out of the water. He blew me, just, "God, what are you gonna do? You can't do it. You can't do it." And he loved my voice so much, and he knew what I was capable of doing. And I just wasn't giving it to him. And when he said, I'm gonna give it to somebody else. You can't do this song.
And it's incredible that it's interesting when you start breaking down the different roles that people have in the
Yeah.
creation of art and what he could
Yes.
see and knew that he could
Yes.
see in you, and then had to get that out. As we dive into the song later, I will say, like, what I found interesting after reading that and then seeing that, like, this song's been covered by a lot of people.
A lot.
A lot of people. So I started listening to a few. Well, first of all, yours is the best, and I'm not just saying that because there's something about yours that is has an addictive quality to it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Oh,
Kind of like how you were describing listening to that other song, where you hear it and it's like it hits you good.
immediately. Yeah.
And so, but I was listening to some of the other ones, and then it kind of reflecting on Ron working with you, because some of them, the problem with them is how they deliver the words, and like just the delivery of the words differently, same words. And as a matter of fact, the ones that were the most listenable were the ones that actually just imitated you almost.
Right. Right.
Respect
Right.
all of them, but like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like some of them, the Temptation one was good, but that is
Oh,
like
I
you
love
said,
the
it's a guy
text.
version.
Oh,
It's a guy
I
version.
love. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it was, but anyway, we can get to that a little later. I'm interested to hear. Okay, so you create this song, so it gets released, and it just doesn't do anything. And it's like it's interesting because as we flash forward, like a decade about, right, we know that eventually this becomes a global phenomenon. But it's interesting though that when it was released, right, it kind of bombed. I mean, it didn't meet any expectations, right?
Mhm.
It's one of those things where I'm sure you're like, I know this is amazing. What the hell is wrong with the world? And later that you were right. It was interesting because it's such a great case study, and timing's everything.
I know. I know. But you know what? Do you know what the clincher was? Ron even said to me, Ron said, "Charlene, do you know what happened? Why the song wasn't a hit?" I said, Ron, I don't know. It just made me so sad because I loved it so much. What made it not be a hit was, hey, you know what paradise is? It's a lie, a fantasy we create about people and places as we'd like them to be. But you know what truth is? It's that little baby you're holding. It's that man you fought with this morning, the same one you're going to make love with tonight. That's truth. That's love. That was it. That was the clincher of the song. And it got, oh my gosh, that was it. When they put that, because I did the talking part, but Motown was like, "Oh, that's cheesy. Kick that out of there. Take that out." And Ron was like, "They're making a big mistake by taking that out. That needs to be in there."
It was an interesting evolution. So you had your Charlene album, right? That
Yeah.
debuts that has it on, right?
Right.
If I'm
Right.
getting this right, it had it on, what you
Yeah.
just mentioned. But
Yeah.
then they kind of Your second album was kind of a rework of the first album. They kind of re-released it. And then they took it off. Flash forward to like, so this is what, 1977. Then you flash forward to 1982. We can thank Scott Shannon, a disc jockey,
Yes.
Girl Home,
Yeah.
right?
I know. Yeah.
And he's like, he starts playing the original version. So that you try the version with you talking.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's outpacing well, in his market, it's up against like Olivia Newton-John Physical, and people are loving your song even more.
Oh, I know. I know.
10-year-old song, roughly. So you go ahead, use that. When I like,
Yeah.
That's why you don't know any of this is going on. Right?
I was in England, working in a candy store in England, having a clue. My career's over with. They don't want to know Charlene. They don't want to know I've never been to me. They don't want to know anything. I was going through a bad depression. I was so down because I love that song. And I believed so much it should have been a hit. So anyway, I'm working for the candy store, and my mom had called me, Charlene, somebody from Motown's looking for you. And this is like, I don't even know how long ago that I had never been to me working on it. And I had no idea. I kind of dropped the ball. And then I went to bed that night and I just cried and cried and cried and said, why did this song not make it? What is going on with Motown? What are they doing? What are they thinking? Because I was so confused because I loved it. About 3 or 4 days later, Jay Lasker called me and said, Charlene, are you ready to have your number one, or not number one on Cashbox? Cashbox was a that had all the songs that were big hits and the songs that were coming up the charts. So he said, are you ready to come back to America? I know you're living in England. How do you like it? I said, it's great. It's fine. It's freezing cold. I hate the food. So, but that's okay. I'll come back there. He says, come back. Come back. You got a big hit. And I'm like, okay. I came back to America. I was a star. I was a freaking star. I was like, how did this happen? You know what? I got something wrong with my brain, I think, a little bit twisty in my brain. Things happen and I don't compute it until a long time after. I'm like, it's like the penny doesn't drop for like a year. I'm like thinking, what is this? What's wrong with me? You're number one all over the world. What? And then it really hit me when Suzanne DePass says, Charlene, you're flying on Concorde Airlines to Good Morning America in New York City. You're going to be interviewed by Maurice Bee Gee, one of the Bee Gees. And I'm like, oh my God, I love the Bee Gees. Like getting interviewed by one of the Beatles, I was like, okay. So I did that. And then it started really hitting me. I was getting interviews, TV, and just so much. And that was when the penny really, really dropped. And I was really realizing that I was a star for not a long, long time, but it was long enough to get my attention. That was when everything happened.
It's amazing because
I know
songs endured to today, which we'll talk about in a second. But so when I was reading your book, which I encourage anyone to get because it's so fascinating. I always thought, I shouldn't say I would have assumed that when things didn't happen, and you talk about early in the book how they didn't really promote you and your parents were kind enough to send you on a mall tour to sing I've Never Been to Me.
Yeah.
And it just nothing really happened with it. And everything was right behind it. I mean, like you said, Ron Miller was a machine with
He was a machine. He was.
Here in the Motown world, Then I started reading, and then I got like mad during your book. I was like, they screwed you so hard with when you finally did get famous. So you are world famous, but they screwed you. Like, explain what this clawback thing is.
Clawback. Okay. Yeah, the clawback was when it came back. It was huge. And I remember I was living back in England, about a little flat in England, and I got a royalty check. Well, I got a check from the government saying that I owed like $65,000 for unpaid royalty money. And I'm like, what royalty? I never got any royalty. I got nothing. I got like maybe $16,000. They gave me that as my first little check. Not even that much. So I was like, royalty money? What are they talking about? So I contacted an attorney that I'd used because I got wind that I made so much money and the money was just gobbled up by Motown. They took every single penny that I made and it was gone. It was gone. And I was like, well, how did that? I thought I made money. No, you didn't. You don't make any money, Charlene. You don't make. And back then, that's a day when you do make money. That was the day. Now you can make 5 cents and you sell 100,000 records. You don't make anything. I got this attorney, and he looked at me and said, "Charlene, I hate to tell you this, but when you came back to America, one of the attorneys got with me and gave me a new contract to sign. Not my original one, of course, because that was like 10 years ago or 6 years ago. All the money that I made there was taken for their thing.
Right. Something called cross collateral.
Cross collateralization. There you go. Cross collateralization. That's the name of it. And what that means is you get the big hit and you get to watch yourself go up and down the charts and you feel yourself go on the TV and everything like that. But when it comes down to the money, it goes right back to the company and you're like invisible.
Because they figured they spent, I think it said $300,000 for
Right.
whatever recordings,
Right.
that
Right.
song and probably other songs
Exactly.
you did with
Right.
them.
See,
Then
the
when you
thing,
finally got hit, that's why they wanted you back so bad.
right, they wanted their money back. But see, the thing is, when I was on the label the first time, when I was on those demos that I did the first time, they had taken all that money that I made. I didn't get anything. I got nothing. So that was all the song Hungry. It goes, was I wrong? Did when you were gone? I shared some lies, making love, and never closed my eyes. Dee dee dee. You must listen to that song. That is
But why bother? I got a free concert just now.
a little bit. I didn't think the whole thing, but there was so many beautiful, beautiful songs. And they look at that, is that the money they took? I never made a penny on any of that. Nothing.
Right.
So
You
how
almost
does
went to
it?
jail, right? I mean, you almost couldn't
Yeah,
get
I
come
was.
back to the US.
Yep. They said the government was like, you're going to be spending the next 3 or 4 years in prison because you owe all this money back to the government. My attorney, Barry Friedman was his name. He's the one that fought for me. He said, Charlene, you are paying for what you did a long time ago, but they're looking at it as you being paid for it now, and it's a cross collateralization. I didn't understand any of that stuff. I just was enjoying my money and thinking I'm gonna, have a big hit. I can buy a house and I can do this and that. No, it was for, and my attorney said, I'm gonna go fight for you at the IRS. I'm gonna fight for you, Charlene. I already owed him $50,000 for him trying to get me some of that money back from Motown. And they just said, fine, go in litigation. You'll end up poor and we'll keep your money. That's how cold they were. They were so calloused about it, and that was awful. But Barry Friedman fought for me, and I owed him so much money, and I wasn't able to get anything back. Nothing. That was kind of a real shot in my head. Yeah, that was hard.
It's hard to read too, because it's like you're sitting there reading it and you're like, oh my God, it finally happened. You're number 3 in the USA, which none of the other covers, by the way, ever went as high as yours. You're number 1 in England, Australia, worldwide. Phenomenal.
Oh,
You're on
so
AMA.
huge.
You're presenting awards to Willie Nelson. You're out, like you said.
Yeah. Look at all that stuff I did. It was like,
you're like everywhere, and
I know.
you made 13 grand.
Yeah, 13 grand. That's it. 10 grand. Oh, you know what Ron did? He's so clever. He proved to me that I made over $1 million on that song. And he said, come with me, honey. Come with me. I said, where are we going? Because we're going to go to the department where all the royalties are brought in. And you look at a chart at all the songs that are making this much money. I don't know why he did that to me, because it made me see that. I almost had a heart attack. I went in all these rooms, these places where all the songs had charted, and all the money that this artist made, all the money this artist made, and every one of them, I was in $1 million of what I'd made. $1 million. And I was like, how can this be? He goes, Charlene, welcome to the music industry. They just stung you dry.
They did you dirty. It was
They really, really did.
you still have an affinity for Barry Gordy? I mean, do you have any in the book? It sounded like you still had positive feelings.
Oh, you know what? Barry Gordy was like a dad to me. He was so I love him, and I still think of him as a good man. You know, he did what he did. He did what he did, and he had people behind him telling him what to do. A lot of the other artists didn't like me. They did not like people who would say, you're not a Motown singer. What do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Aretha Franklin?" I'm like, no, I'm me, and I'm a different sound, you know. And
I don't think Aretha Franklin was Motown.
she wasn't, but she was a black singer.
Oh, right.
They just
because you were like were you the first white woman or white person, period?
I think there was another lady named Chris Clark had a song on Motown, but nothing happened. Like with me, I was the first. I was the first number one Motown artist who crossed over into country. My song went to country as well. It's a trip. It's like, wow.
And then Motown 25, where Michael Jackson infamously did the moonwalk. You were supposed to sing?
I had strep throat. I was very sick. I was like this. I was like, I can't sing. Can't sing. I can't do it. I was not well. If I did sing, it would have been terrible because I've been to paradise. That was so high. I wouldn't have been able to have that come out. So, oh.
But you did do a duet with Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
Used to be.
Oh my gosh.
I was listening to it. I could see where lyrically it may have caused a kerfuffle, but it's a good song though. You know, if you just listen to it, it's a good song.
It's a great song. You know what I say? I make a joke. I say, Ron Miller wrote a song that put me at the firing squad at the back wall, and everybody had their gun and went, do, 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 do. It shot me. It's like killer. Oh my God. I got so much flack for that song. Oh, but it was so incredible. What a lyric, huh?
What was it like working with Stevie Wonder, though?
Stevie is a genius. Stevie was a genius in that song. He is a genius. He used to come up to me in the piano at the music room at Motown and play this song, play for me, and say, Charlene, what do you think about this? He would get my opinion on songs, you know, what he'd play and what he's doing. And Ron Miller would walk up behind him and go, guess who? His hands over his eyes and go, guess who? He'd go, Ron, that's you. He goes, yeah, you got it. So funny. Oh my gosh.
When you were at Motown, it was the LA offices?
Yes.
Have you ever been to the Detroit Hitsville?
No, never been there.
It's really cool.
I know. I've got a big picture on the wall.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how it feels when, then again, I mean, this song's got so many live. I think it's been on Will and Grace, Desperate Housewives.
Yes.
Big one. And then recently, I think I was told The Walking Dead.
It's on The Walking Dead, too?
The Daryl Dixon book.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
But Priscilla, Queen of the Jungle.
Oh my gosh, that is like the best of the best. I'll never forget Ron called me and said, Charlene, you'll never guess the song that Never Been to Me is on. I said, what? He goes, just play it. Just go to the movies and watch it. I went to the movies. I was like, oh my God. It's so funny. What a funny movie.
But it's not like you can miss it. You literally are the opening.
I am very, very big opening. But with Hugo Weaving singing it, that would catch people's eye, you know, because I love him. I love Hugo Weaving. He's so awesome. He's so cool.
To have your song just keep coming back. And it's like,
oh, all the time.
So Scott Shannon, I don't know if he's still with us or not, but
yeah, he is. He's doing all the talk show things for Sean, not KFI, but the radio station. He does all the jingles for him.
Have you ever met Scott Shannon?
I think I did a long time ago. I don't remember. I had to
give him a big hug and say thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Because that's crazy. I mean, just to think like some guy in Tampa, girlfriend just loves your song, and next thing you know, it reignites everything. So,
oh God, it was so weird. It was so freaky.
I have a trivia question for you if you want.
Okay.
If you can do both, great. If you don't know, it's okay. I don't expect.
Right.
But as I was doing research, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Either the 1977 version or the 1982 version. Do you know the B side?
Yes. It's really nice to be in love again.
Yes, that was 1977, and then 1982, Somewhere in My Life. And then,
Somewhere in my life. Yeah.
so here's another interesting thing that I found
Okay.
is so when you were tearing up the charts in the revival and it hit number 3 in the USA, your song stopped dead 2 other songs on the
Yes.
charts, specifically Don't Talk to Strangers by Rick Springfield and this is the funny one,
Yes.
Ebony and Ivory by your Beatle loving pal, Paul McCartney. You love the Beatles.
Right.
And Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. Right. Well, what about the one that stopped me in the charts in England? Is that Funny Song? It was a funny from Carousel.
That one I don't know. You got me on that one.
I'll remember it in a minute.
All right. So now in terms of back to covers, Nancy Wilson,
Yeah.
Out of Heart, a different Nancy Wilson, the
Yeah.
covered the song in 1970. I mean, people did it right away. I mean, they just jumped on this song.
Yeah, they
And
did.
do you have one that you're like, okay, I like this one?
Do I have a cover song that I like?
Of the covers of your song,
Oh,
is there one that you're like, okay, this one's not too bad?
I don't like any of the covers. I don't.
Okay, fair answer.
No, I don't. A lot of them are just terrible.
That is the correct answer. When I was listening to it, I was like, when I was listening to them, I just went on Amazon Music and just started listening. And I was like, it's the subtlety of how they deliver the lyrics that makes or break the song. And so it's just nothing that matches like your delivery and cadence of the words.
So the worst one was Mary McGregor. Mary McGregor, or the girl who did like, hey lady, you lady, cursing at your life. You're a discontented mother and a regiment. It sounded like a machine.
Well, it's like they didn't understand the song. Like you clearly understood the song. I mean, it resonated, like you described earlier, it really resonated with you.
Yeah, it did. It did really, really resonate with me.
Amazingly. What other Charlene songs because this song was so popular, people will call you a one-hit wonder, which I know.
Yeah, I know.
Even though VH1 ranked you as the number 75 one-hit wonder of all time. But that's, I guess, the blessing and curse of having a song that is so dominant.
You're always going to have that. You never know where you're going to end up, with people's opinions.
Right. So what are your other, if you were to pick 2 or 3 other ones of your songs, like if you're the greatest hits right now, like what's making the Charlene greatest hits album?
Ain't Easy Coming Down. Have you heard that one?
Yes.
I love that song. I love it. And the other one, Hey Mama, growing into me ain't the best thing I could be. I was taken from the school of life. Oh God, I love that song. And the other one would be
Never Been to Me dance version.
Oh God, no. No. Oh my gosh. Have you ever heard the one where I rap, where somebody raps on it?
I don't think I've heard that one, but
God.
When I was researching, I did have it on repeat.
Yeah.
I did start streaming all your music. So Fire is pretty hot from
Fire's
the last
cool.
three again.
Yeah, Fire's neat. Yeah, Fire was good.
Fire. Good.
Yeah, it was a good little song.
There's so many other like really cool stories in your book. Like I love Tiger Beat. I had Ann Moses on. She was like a reporter during that time and she had written a book. So we were talking. Anytime I talk to someone, I always try and find some of their Tiger Beat stuff. And you had a really cute story in your book, how you just had like a sticker from Tiger Beat or something. And like everyone thought it was a press pass. So you got to meet the Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah. I got to meet the Rolling Stones. I met a lot of groups.
Tell me about meeting Ringo.
Ringo was awesome. I gave him one of my albums. I go, love Charlene to Ringo, love Charlene. Thanks, love.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then you hung out at Brian Wilson's house.
Yes, I did. He was a stoner from a loner. Wow, he was so out of it all the time. But I used to go downstairs to the studio where his wife would bring me down to the studio. And she played me long ago, I'm not so far away. Da 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 da. but she put her voice on there. It was beautiful, beautiful. And that was a fun time.
You hung out with Jeff Bridges,
Yep.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah,
Just
Lionel Richie called me to thank me for doing Jesus is Love, one of my albums.
well, there was a Christian album. There was another thing where that Motown screwed you over. Is
Oh yeah, totally.
so Charlene makes this, what was it, Christian music, and then Motown's like, well, we'll master it, and then they get the tapes, and they're like, well, you can have it back for $100,000.
Yeah, for oh God.
One
That
of the
was
songs on that album was a Lionel Richie
yeah,
written song. Yeah.
Mm,
So he
that was
liked the
terrible.
song. That was
And the man who basically let me do that song, who owned the rights to it, they took it from him and gave him nothing. And he put all that money behind it. It was so sad. It was so horrible. That was an awful time for me.
yeah. It sounds like Motown was a blessing and a bit of a curse in
Yeah,
terms of.
yeah.
Was there ever an opportunity to sign with a different label, or they just wouldn't let you go? Or
A&M was interested in me, and then they fell apart. And what other label? I think there was somebody, but you know who really had me by the balls, so to say, was Ron Miller. Ron had my life. He had everything. I mean, he was a blessing and a curse to me. I loved him as a friend and I loved him as a boyfriend, we weren't that long together, but he wanted me lock, stock, and barrel, no going anywhere. It's like he wanted me to be the next Diana Ross. And I wasn't. I wasn't her kind of voice. She had a very high, different kind of voice. So that kind of somebody at the group, God, what was the name of the group? They wanted me to go on tour with them in England. And Ron said, no, she's not going on tour because she didn't have that kind of music. And he was right. I don't have the kind of music that you can go and dance to. I didn't. I had ballads, beautiful ballads. That was really all I had.
another really interesting story, speaking of ballads, is they offered you "We Belong," which later became a hit by Pat Benatar.
To this day, the writer came to my house when he just wrote it, and it was a real dinky little cassette player. And he played it. He goes, Charlene, I really want you to do this song. I could hear you really doing it. And I loved it. I brought it to Motown, and the lady who was in charge of putting songs on my album said, no, 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 she can't do that song. And I sing that song perfectly. I sing that song perfect. We belong to the light. We belong to the thunder. We belong to the did not down and under. Whatever we did to base, we're having other. We belong together. I would have nailed that song, but they never even gave me a shot.
Yeah, you would have nailed it. That's it. It's that was when I could hear. Like when I read it, I'm like, oh yeah, I could have heard that.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was taken.
And then you were recording Hit and Run Lover, the album, and as you're recording it, you guys all get word that Marvin Gaye was killed.
Yes, we did. We were in the studio. We were in the big, where Diana did all her things, all her songs. We were in that studio recording, and Ray Singleton, the lady who was in charge of a lot of the music, came in and said, everybody clear out. Marvin's been shot. He's been killed by his father. And we're all like, what? Couldn't believe it. And we all just left. Everybody out. Everybody get out. Whew, that was so sad.
That's so sad. It's quite a life hanging with all the Motown people.
I know. Oh my gosh. The one that scared me the most, the writer who scared me the most was Norman Whitfield. He looked like the monster from the deep lagoon. He was so big. He was so big and his hair was everywhere. And he was not nice. He was kind of rude, and he scared me. He was like a frightening guy. Norman Whitfield, who wrote War, what are you good for? Absolutely nothing again. War, da da da. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, that was like.
Say it again. Yeah.
Say it again now. Yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
I think the first time I heard that song was actually Bruce Springsteen singing it.
Really? He probably did a really good job.
Yeah, when he did the live album, that was one of his.
Yeah.
Biggest
Oh,
songs.
yeah.
Yeah.
He had that real gruff voice.
Charlene, what's next? What are you working on right now? Are we going to get new Charlene music?
Yeah, I'm writing. I'm doing a lot of writing. My daughter is singing. She's written something with a friend of hers that is so beautiful and so brilliant. She's looking, she doesn't want to get involved with doing any music. She doesn't want it. She'll just do it for fun. I said, well, for fun, what if you get a big deal? What if you want to do it? She goes, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. She saw me go through what I went through, and she did not want it to go there. She did not want any part of it. My first daughter, Jessica, who lives in California, what a voice. She sounds like Alicia Keys. Me and this friend were at this party, and again, Jessica came up to sing. She did the song about Ain't No Whatever It Is. She sang that, and me and my friend Yabo, who plays piano for the church, he was in that side of the room, and I was here, and she sang, and he and I just looked at each other and like, what in the heck? Because he loved Jesse's voice. But a whole album was written on her, a whole album. She wants nothing to do with it. She does law and she does legal stuff.
Well,
like, okay.
That would be her one up on you. Would she be able to read the contract?
Oh yeah, she would. Yeah, well, she never wanted to do it. She was like, I'm not doing that.
Charlene, is your story more common than, I mean, we know the Diana Rosses and the Stevie Wonder. We know the mega stars, right? Michael Jackson. But is your story the more common one where they just bring people in, they do them wrong most of the
time? They took advantage of my naivety, being naive and a little bit on the dumb side, not really knowing where to go and not having any direction, not having any people guiding me where I should go and what I shouldn't do and what I had no guidance, and it was kind of sad. It was sad because I wanted so much to do stuff, and to have more songs out there. Maybe one day, maybe one day I will have some more songs. I don't know.
Well, I hope you do. You have a beautiful voice. Thanks for sharing a little bit of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely, and whatever you do, you need to cover We Belong. I think the world deserves.
Oh, I know. Wouldn't that be great? Oh, that song would be so fantastic.
Yeah.
I know.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, I've got that edge in my voice now. I've got that edge that I could use for that song.
Are you on any social medias?
Yeah, a lot of them, all over the place. I'm all over the place. I'm everywhere. I've got just everywhere.
I'll find it. Also, everyone, if you can find the book, it's you wrote it a little bit ago, right? I mean, but it's really good. It's like it really is it from the heart book. It really doesn't sugarcoat anything. So
no, it doesn't.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Jeff, thank you. Thank you.